We're going to talk about Dr. Ruth. You probably remember Dr. Ruth, haven't heard about her for a long time. Dr. Ruth really changed TV with her show about sex that had come out, I don't know, 30 years ago, maybe 40 years ago. Her radio show then evolved into a TV show. But the good news is that she has now been appointed the honorary ambassador for loneliness in New York by the governor there. It's the first time that this position has been created in the nation. The hope is that it's aiming to help New Yorkers with social isolation associated with physical and mental health issues, including cardiovascular disease, depression, earlier death. That, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. As we've talked about, probably 100 times at this point, our Surgeon General Murthy has described the prevalence of loneliness and isolation as a national epidemic. The question is, do we think that Dr. Ruth can pull this off? Can she, help people that are lonely? Can she get the word out there to all generations? And will this, have an impact?
It will be great to see what happens. I absolutely love Dr. Ruth. It's hard not to love her. I learned so many great things about her recently, one being that, at 10 years old, she was sent away to Switzerland so that she could be safe because her parents were taken by the Gestapo and her parents did end up dying in the Holocaust. She then became a sniper for the Israeli army at 16 years old. And then she moved to New York City and became a therapist. And it's just such an incredible story. And she has really, really educated a lot of people in making human connections. She's a great person, I think, for the job here. But what's even better is what the governor is doing in New York. Last year, signed an executive order to create the state's first ever master plan for aging to ensure older New Yorkers can live healthy, fulfilling lives while aging with dignity and independence. And, Phil, what these studies are showing us is that it's oftentimes the older people that we are seeing that are living with loneliness and isolation that need someone to reach out to them, to provide community for them, to help them with that human connection so that they can live more fulfilling lives and ultimately experience less disease and not premature death.
And what I love about Dr. Ruth is that she really is one of these iconic figures that spans the generations. That you might say that Dr. Ruth only appeals to older Americans. I don't think so. I think because of her nature, because of her character and caricature, if you would, she really appeals to everybody. So I applaud what New York is doing. And what the governor said is there was a 2020 study by the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine that found more than 1/3 of adults, to your point, age 45 and older, experience loneliness. 1/4 of adults 65 or older are considered socially isolated. So if anybody can do it, Dr. Ruth can. And my hope is that it's so successful that, hey, we have the Biden administration calling on her to help nationally as well. Wouldn't that be cool?
Be sure to visit supermarketguru.com for the latest marketing analysis, issues, and trends. And don't forget to join us back here next Tuesday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern for more.